Hey there, friends. Welcome back to Coach Michelle's YouTube channel. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. I am fully prepared to eat crow about a certain topic, and I fully expect to receive some backlash and some unfollows and anger from other people, followers, other coaches, so on and so forth, because of this particular topic that I am going to discuss with you today. But it does involve a new certification that I received over the weekend, and it's something that I want to share with everybody because it is a very prevalent topic. It is a very prevalent solution for things, and I want to talk about it in a manner that is not too terribly controversial or anything like that. So here goes. I am a huge advocate of lifestyle change. You guys know I worked through my own issues. I resolved my emotional eating disorders. I dealt with a whole slew of health problems that I have reversed and or improved on since 2020. I eat a primarily ketogenic diet. Still to this day, eat a primarily ketogenic diet. I've tried other stricter forms of it. They did not work out for me. But in my coaching practice, I've learned over the past 2 years that dogma is not helping anybody. It's not helping my clients. It's not helping the layperson out there. It's not helping any of you potentially, because dogma is it's just harmful. And I don't want to be in the club anymore of this is the way that you have to do everything. It's this or nothing. It is all or nothing. No, we have stopped that train of thought in my coaching practice. The people who think that they have to be perfect all of the time, that if they're not perfect, well, F it, throw the day out because I've already done this, so there's no reason to keep going on and behaving in the manner that I should be behaving in. No, we're stopping all of that. We're stopping that train of thought. We are stopping those actions. That is something that I have really shifted, especially in the last 8 months since I really have ramped up my own coaching business. And I want to ensure that my current clients and any future clients feel that I am a safe person. I am a safe space for them to discuss options of potential things to do in the future with regards to fat loss, improved overall health, improved fitness, so on and so forth. So about a year ago, I was very big into posting about how anti-weight loss tools I am. You know my story about my own personal experience with weight loss surgery. I still do not encourage anybody to go through weight loss surgery and physiologically change their stomachs in order to be unable to eat more food, because overall that doesn't help resolve the underlying issues that we actually have that have driven us to have morbid obesity in our lives, which then leads to all sorts of other health issues down the road, right? Me having a lap band placed, having a silicone and plastic band put around the top of my stomach did not prevent me from going to food when things got hard, when times got tough. It did not prevent me from slurping down a chocolate shake from Dairy Queen because it made me happy for about 35 seconds. And then, reality came back. So I was constantly chasing that dopamine fix, right? I was constantly chasing the high, I don't want to feel what I'm feeling right now, so let's do something else. However, I had altered myself so that I couldn't eat the way that I normally had to cope with life, as I had done basically my entire life. So I am still not a proponent for weight loss surgery. I would absolutely suggest you exhaust every other option before you even considered going under the knife for a very serious surgical procedure such as that. That being said, I am 100% a fan of changing your lifestyle, focusing on mindset shifts. Like that is 90% of the battle right there for most of us is our mindset, how we deal with situations, how we cope with life, how we handle stress, and keeping ourselves from being in a constant fight or flight type of a scenario and becoming cortisol storms, right? So mindset is so much of it. I have a number of clients who have been with me for over a year, and it's taken them about that long to really allow themselves to feel the things they need to feel, to work through their stuff, and actually start going and proceeding on this journey again. But it's been a very hard, rocky, tumultuous journey for them because they're really having a hard time letting go. So the people who have finally started to, see the light at the end of the tunnel are starting to see progress. But then they have trip ups, and what happens? Sometimes they're like, okay, you know what? It's all right. I'm going to keep on going. And sometimes they just, okay, you know what? I screwed up. Like, let's go ahead and eat that ice cream, or go get a pie and eat the whole thing, or steal a dozen donuts from somewhere and, chow down in our car, because if we're eating in our car, nobody sees it and it didn't actually happen, right? If I don't see it, it didn't happen because they don't have to report it to me. Well, that being said, we want to also offer my clients the opportunity to utilize other types of tools. So I went to Orlando this past weekend and I attended a certification course. It was the full weekend. Let me tell you how freaking exhausted I was being there, because I did an overnight flight to get there for it. And at the same time, I was super geeked out listening to the geniuses that we had presenting about this particular topic. And so my new certification is in GLP-1 coaching. Backlash, right? Oh my God, Michelle, you hate those shots. You're so against those shots. They're so bad. They're going to kill us. They don't make you deal with all the other issues. For some people, 100%, you're absolutely right. But there are more studies and there is more research coming out about these particular injections or medications that have really started to shift my perspective on them. And that is why I attended this conference. I wanted to see what exactly was out there now, what information was out there, and get some more information about how they affect the body, how they work in our body, how they help to enhance our body's natural GLP-1 hormone, and basically how it can help people who are really, truly struggling with doing all the things. And I'm not talking about having somebody jump into this and, I'm not doing anything. I'm still eating Doritos and Cheetos and Taco Bell and whatever. They're not changing their eating habits. They're not changing their lifestyle. They're not focused on their sleep. They're not encouraged to do any sort of fitness. Those aren't the type of people that I am talking about. I am talking about the people who start this and they go and something happens and then they get derailed. And then they start it again and they go and something happens and it stops. And then they start again. Do you see what I'm talking about? The constant on and off. People who are really, truly putting in the work and having issues continuing on with their journeys for whatever reason. Probably a majority of them is frustration over the amount of time that it takes. That is probably the biggest complaint that I get in my Facebook group and with my clients is it's taking so long. Well, guess what? We are an instant gratification society, right? We want things happening. We want them happening now. We want to see results immediately. So I help people work through those emotions while I'm coaching them and learn to celebrate the small wins. But There are people who are doing all the right stuff and things keep happening or things keep stopping. I'm one of those people. I went through a 20-month stall. I went up and down the same 5 pounds. I would fluctuate between 231 and 236 for almost 2 years, doing everything I was supposed to do. I was still eating a ketogenic diet. I did a carnivore diet. I did a lion diet. I actually ended up gaining weight on a carnivore diet. Why? Because I ate way too much, because my little ED brain couldn't figure out, hey, you're actually full. You need to stop eating, even though there's still food on your plate. But I'm following people who are saying, this is what you do and everything is going to be fine. Everything is going to be fixed. You know what? You need to increase your fat to 120 grams a day and your protein to 120 grams a day and your carbs to virtually 0. And that's what's going to help you. Yeah, that helped me gain weight. So guess what? That didn't work for me. And that is why I have really started to steer clear of the dogma and all of the all or nothing, all size fits one type of approach for any person, not just my clients, but anybody who's a follower out there. There is no one right way to do everything, period. End of story. Am I going to be supporting and a proponent of a vegan diet? No, because I don't believe in that. And I've seen people who were in that lifestyle switch to other types of lifestyles and had, significant health improvements because of the nutrients that they were lacking not eating animal products. But I digress. So I've been reading, I've been studying, I've been listening to more information from not necessarily people who are pushing these products, but a little neutral, impartial, and just what they are learning, what they are observing. And so I decided to start an experiment on myself. In January of this year, I started microdosing semaglutide. Have I lost any weight? No, because that was not my goal. My goal was to see what other effects would happen within my own body if I start microdosing these things. And when I talk about microdosing, I am not starting at the minimum amount that the Ozempics and Wegovy's and other things are. I am starting significantly lower than that because I wanted to see if I had the other impacts as opposed to the slower gastric emptying, being full longer because the motility has slowed down in my gut. I didn't want that to happen. And what has happened since January? Well, number one, I made sure that I was able to start going back to the gym again, because even taking a small dose of these GLP-1s, I didn't want to chance losing any sort of muscle mass that I've got, because I haven't been able to properly work out and strength train since July of last year due to my neck issues. Now that I've had my neck procedures done again, I'm starting to feel better. I'm able to start working out in a fashion that works for me and that I had been accustomed to, because that's what really helped me break my stall last year, was starting the strength training, burning the fat, building the muscle, so on and so forth. So I started microdosing in January. And what did I notice? Well, not a whole lot for the first month, to be honest. But starting in month 2, I realized that my perimenopause hip pain is what I call it. Pain that I've had in my right hip since I tore my calf muscle in 2021. It's gone. It's gone. I've been dealing with this pain for 3 years, because it was the end of 2021 that I tore my calf muscle. 3 years I've had this hip pain, and no matter what I do, it didn't go away. I wasn't going to go as far as to go get a cortisone injection in my hip or anything like that, because it wasn't that bad, but it was really freaking annoying. And sometimes if I laid on my right side, it would irritate it. But then I realized one day, as I'm sitting in my chair, as I do all day, every day for work, I didn't have hip pain. My hip doesn't hurt. okay, this is weird. So then I was doing my workouts and my hip didn't hurt still. So I was like, okay, this is interesting. It started decreasing additional inflammation I still had within my joints, specific joints. My perimenopause hip pain is gone. What else did it do? It really started to help my sleep. It started to help the mood swings that I was having. It definitely has helped the brain fog that I experience. I have much fewer brain farts anymore. And most of these things that it has helped with are all perimenopausal symptoms that I've been experiencing for the last couple of years. I don't think there's a coincidence there. And it's not a placebo effect that I am wishing these things to happen and that's, oh, this is what it is because this is what I want to happen. I went into this with no expectations whatsoever. But coming to the realization on certain days that, wait a minute, I don't feel this anymore. I'm not having this discomfort anymore. I have no gastric issues, guys, because I am not taking a dose that is significantly reducing my motility. There's a big difference between regular dosing and microdosing. I wanted to see the other effects that this medication could potentially have on me. My workouts have been better. Even though I've had to drop my weight because I didn't work out for a number of months, my workouts are better. I'm not as exhausted at the end of them as I had been. I am feeling stronger, even though I'm lifting less. Go figure, right? My overall mood is so much better. I don't have those horrible fluctuations anymore. I have not started taking any sort of BHRT or anything like that. This is just from the semaglutide that I've been microdosing since the beginning of the year. Now, I am getting labs updated. So I did labs at 6 weeks to see what was going on. And I had positive improvements with my markers, my metabolic markers, just with 6 weeks of microdosing. Again, this is before any real things kind of popped up to me that, oh wait, I don't feel this anymore and I don't feel that anymore. But I'm having updated labs done next week, actually, for my hormones because, you know, we have to test our hormones at a very specific time of the month if we're still cycling. So next week I'm getting my hormones checked because my doctor just wants to verify how my progesterone is and my estradiol. Just see where they're at. Primarily, we're looking at my progesterone. But the fact that without any hormonal supplements, I've seen these positive changes, I have definitely changed my stance on these GLP-1 medications. Do I feel that they are for everyone? No, absolutely not. Do I feel they can be beneficial for people who have been struggling the same way that I was struggling? 100%. So I am actually creating a program specifically for people who are going to be taking or are currently taking GLP-1 medications and helping coach them along their journey while they are utilizing these particular products. I am not going to be encouraging this for every single person who comes to me. We will do an intake like any other new client I do. We'll have our discovery call. We'll figure out if this would be a right thing for you. And if so, then you will also be enrolled in the medical wellness portion of the program that I am creating. So Coach Michelle Hall is bringing in medical wellness into her GLP-1 coaching program because I don't want you going through this alone. I want you to have proper guidance, but I also want the regular monitoring and lab work done to see how things are improving or not improving in your labs. We will also implement a strength training program. That is a very specific necessity, is you have to do strength training while you're utilizing these medications because we don't want the weight loss that's coming to be any sort of muscle. We want it to be actual fat. But these medications do definitely help you with your strength training, helping keep your bone strength going, and again, achieving those healthy lifestyle goals that you want to achieve. So stay tuned. The program is being finalized this week. It will be available by, I'm hoping, May 1st, and on my website of coachmichellehall.com. And I will also have it posted on my social media as well as in my private Facebook group, which if you're not a member of that, I'll put the link in here so that you can join that. But there is the latest from Coach Michelle Hall. She has definitely learned. She has definitely changed her way of thinking about things. I am being more open to the idea of people utilizing these medications in a proper fashion with appropriate guidance. And this isn't a thing that I want you to stay on for the rest of your life. This is something I want to utilize as a tool while you're working through everything else to be able to handle life and what it throws at you on your own. So if you have questions, please comment below. If you have snarky comments, you can keep them to yourself. I don't care. Either way, whatever. But there you go. There's the newest from me. So I hope everybody has a great rest of your week, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.